guest DJ is one of my personal favourite DJs in Perth, Lani. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today. To start off, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your DJ name? What do you do for work and for fun?
So my DJ name is Lani. It's just short for my real name, which is Leilani, which is a Hawaiian name that means heavenly flower. And I feel like, yeah, much like Sepsi has mentioned, like my DJ name also is not super creative.
Doesn't have to be.
Yeah, I feel like from the people that I've asked, they have all just said like the name speaks for itself.
It does. It does.
And I guess for me, for fun, I like to just go out, support the local Boorloo dance community, see my friends playing gigs, and also just DJ.
Yeah, cute. I feel like that is the best way to find fun, is just by supporting other people and being a part of the community. And I guess for you, what does DJing mean to you, or what is it to you?
I suppose it's a lot of things all at once, but in simple terms, I guess it's like trying to create a blend of like 2 songs continuously. And it's like reading the crowd. It's also socializing, like, yeah, networking with people.
Being present.
Yeah, exactly. Just having fun.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. How long have you been DJing for?
I've been DJing for about 2 years. I feel like I started off as like a bedroom DJ. And yeah, like my DJ experience was my learning experience was quite collaborative. Like I started off with my partner, Brendan. He taught me for about a year, like how to DJ. He was like, yeah, quite a mentor in that respect. And then I would also like watch boiler rooms, and then from that I was like gathering my own inspiration. So it eventually got to a point where like Brendan and I were like able to teach each other a lot of things. And then one of my friends, Rowan, asked me to play, who's also a DJ, he asked me to play a set at his party. It was just like this random house party, and this girl that I went to school with was there, and she dances with the Cultural Renegades. Her name's Kiara.
Sick.
Yeah, and she like approached me after my set and she was like, oh my God, that was really cool. Have you ever heard of like Soul Alphabet? They're doing DJ workshops. I feel like you should try these workshops out. And I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. Like, how do I get into this? And she was like, oh, I'll take you to the fundraiser.
Sick.
And then she introduced me at the fundraiser to Linda, one of the co-founders of Soul Alphabet, which is a grassroots org that is led by predominantly black women in Boorloo, and I guess they like work across a range of like types of art, not just DJing, but they organised the workshops and they hosted them for 6 months, and that was really great because I feel like for me personally, learning collaboratively works a lot better than in isolation or independently. I find myself when I don't have enough like, what's the word, like empirical data to engage with, like, I don't know, I find myself like getting like a block.
It's nice to have like more people to bounce off and resonate with. Because I find it's so interesting because I feel like you touched on so many different touch points that a lot of people go through when they start getting into music as well. Because like for myself as well, watching boiler rooms and going to house parties was the way that I started liking dance music as well. And I feel like there's so many vaguely universal experiences that a lot of people go through to come to this point. And was there any one thing that made you start to want to DJ, or was it more kind of just a combination of all these experiences?
I feel like it was because I had like a group of friends who were all DJs. I feel like that's how a lot of DJs start. It's kind of like, I don't know, like when all your friends vape. It's kind of like, you're next sort of thing. It was like, for me, it was just like a matter of time. Like, when was I going to buy my equipment? And then also I feel like what was really pivotal for me was seeing like the Filth Crew in Auckland, in Aotearoa. Just seeing like Pacifica representation in the DJ community over there was just like so sick. Yeah, it was just like
game changer kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I was like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah, amazing. You've touched on so much that I want to unpack. But starting, just running back a little bit to, where did you kind of like, what kind of equipment were you starting out on? Like, what were your first steps with, like, getting a controller or like finding your music? How did that all kind of come together for you?
I got, okay, so I think when I was learning, Brendan was teaching me on these like big dusty dinosaur decks. They were like really old and I couldn't beat match for shit on them. It was so bad. And so I think from that experience I realised like it would be nice to have a controller to be able to see the grids, because I was told like it's a really good way to start off learning. So I went to Store DJ and got like a little DDJ 400.
I have that as well.
Yeah,
so good.
So good. And it's like so mobile. You can just pack it in your car.
Anywhere.
Yeah. And then I was shown how to like install record box, and then how to like download music and stuff. And then it was just like a matter of practicing from there.
In terms of like any streaming platforms or websites, do you have any kind of like recommendations for where you would normally find your music?
For me personally, I find a lot of my music on Spotify.
100%.
Yeah, I think they really nailed the algorithm in terms of like the recommendations they have at the bottom of all your playlists.
Such a hack as well, making sure you scroll to the bottom.
Yeah, literally.
See what they add to, like,
and then
to
keep
recommend.
Refreshing it.
Yeah, keep refreshing it.
Yeah, so Spotify. Something I like to do is like I find an artist that I think I might like, and then I would like literally go through their entire discography on like every sort of available platform that they're on that I can access. So I do have a Spotify membership, so that helps. And then I like to use SoundCloud. I feel like those are pretty standard in terms of websites.
It's just nice to like
platforms.
Use platforms that are accessible, that like I feel like so many people use a streaming platform of some capacity like Spotify or Apple Music. And those are such good starting points to find music, and underrated for that too. Like there's definitely no shame in just like listening to like a banger playlist on Spotify and being like, I'd DJ that. That's fun.
Literally.
What's your favourite genre or style of music to play?
Oh my God, I feel like it changes a lot, but I'm definitely into a lot of Afrocentric like electronic music.
Cool.
So I'm really into Afro tech at the moment.
Sick.
Yes, it is very cool, and I love Guam. Guam just like does something to my body that I don't. It like speaks to my soul.
And that's like it's so good to hear as well, because I think what we've been hearing from everyone today is that the real connection with DJing is having music that really hits home and touches deep. In terms of those kind of like really embodied emotional experiences, what's been your favourite memory or experience DJing so far?
I feel like I have most of those experiences where I feel the most embodied, like you said, or emotionally connected to the music, I suppose, when I'm literally just in my bedroom. Having a mix for like an hour.
I love that, because I feel like there's so much beauty in just enjoying something privately for yourself.
Yeah.
And not just like going out and playing to heaps of people, which is also fun.
Yeah.
But like finding that joy just hanging out in your room, having a mix, is where it all starts.
Yeah.
And that's where you find all that like love and joy for yourself and what makes it so fun.
For sure. And I'm like quite a, I guess like anxious person. So like before gigs, yeah, I just get like, a bit in my head about things.
Anxiety and stage fright.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But it's good to know that in my bedroom, I'm like a sick DJ.
And you're a sick DJ out of your bedroom as well. Do you feel like DJing has, because I'm also empathise, I have some social anxiety as well. Do you feel like DJing has helped you work through some of that? Or does it, like, is it something that you navigate as part of just being a little bit anxious generally?
Yeah, I think it's definitely the latter. Like it's like with anything I do, to be honest. But yeah, having to interact socially with a lot of people is definitely teaching me to navigate like my social anxiety a lot more head on. Yeah, so it's good in that way. Difficult, but
yeah, it's
nice.
Definitely one of those things that like, I think a lot of people think that DJs are always really confident and really outgoing, but it just also goes to show that like everyone trying out this kind of art form or practice is their own person, and maybe not necessarily like the Paris Hilton kind of vibe that you would imagine, you know, like not everyone's like a big socialite, and I think that's a really beautiful aspect of it, is that you can be your own person and be true to yourself and also enjoy something both privately and publicly.
Yeah, it's just a lot easier than abandoning like who you are, I suppose, in order to, I don't know, try to live up to this idea of what a DJ is or whatever.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to be a DJ that are not necessarily what you'd expect. In terms of community, and you spoke a lot about how learning from your partner and with your friends has been really important and integral to what you've achieved. How does DJing make you feel more connected with community?
I think that I have been really fortunate to be able to do the Soul Alphabet DJ workshops. Because that has like, I think because the workshops were so successful, and like a lot of us were getting booked right when the workshops finished. Like they were, I don't know, it was then, there was like a community already waiting for me, if you know what I mean.
Soul Alphabet is amazing for that as well.
Yeah, and it just, I like also just showing up for my friends that DJ.
Such an important thing to do is to show up for your friends, because that's how we all feel a little bit more comfy with each other. In terms of where someone might be if they're wanting to just start out, or they're interested but they're not sure where to start, what advice would you have for someone at the beginning of their journey? And do you have any, like, obviously you've spoken about Soul Alphabet as well, but any recommendations of where you could go as a step one to starting to learn to DJ?
I would say I really don't think there are any like personal prerequisites for wanting to be a DJ. I think anybody could be a DJ.
100%.
It for sure helps having access to certain things, I suppose. Like you said, I feel like I'm a big advocate for the community learning and working collaboratively. So I suppose if you can, like, search online for any workshops in your city that might be free or
community geared towards like certain parameters and stuff like that could be helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. What has been the hardest thing about learning to DJ on your journey, and how have you worked to overcome part of it or work through it?
Being also like tokenized sometimes, and then seeing other members of my community also not necessarily being appreciated for the talent that they've worked on.
And I think one of my upcoming questions was going to be, what would you like to see shift or change in the dance music community? I think that is a really good point as well, to move away from that tokenization.
For sure.
And just to general support and care and respect beyond like just booking people because you need to fill a quota as well.
Literally, like not just looking on someone's socials and being like, oh, this person fits my idea of what I think I need to fill my lineup. I think it's about building like authentic connections between organisers and artists.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of kind of building up your kind of connection to community and music, a lot of it comes from just exposing yourself to like different communities and different parties and different sounds. In terms of kind of practicing and exploring music, how much practice and time would you recommend to someone going through those stages of engaging with parties or community or finding music online? Like, do you find yourself practicing a lot on a weekly basis, or do you kind of ebb and flow and come back to music when the time is right?
Yeah, I try not to force my relationship with music, I suppose. I think it's important to like have rest periods, like anything you do, because I think if you don't, you'll just create like a weird relationship with music. So I recommend lots of rest. And
self-care.
Just trying to figure out like when you really feel like having a mix, do it.
Amazing. One last question for you.
Yes.
What is the one song that will always get you up and dancing?
Oh my God.
So hard.
Yeah, that is so hard. Oh my God. Let me think.
Can be as cheesy as you like. I'm on such a Doja Cat tip right now, so I
feel like there are really obvious like answers to this that my brain is just not like coming up with right now. The one that I can think of right now is just Pull Up to the Bumper by Patra. Such a banger.
Sick. Amazing. Thank you so much for being with us, Lani.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.